citizens of the internet, you can call me Nitro Indigo, and welcome to my extremely riveting Let's Play of Kirby's Dream Land 3, my second favourite dream-themed platformer released in 1997 with a protagonist whose name begins with K. Originally, this was going to be the first game I Let's Played. However, at the last minute, I decided to do Wind Waker HD instead. But recently, I cancelled said Wind Waker HD Let's Play because I realised that it was a bit too big for a newcomer like me. So I've decided to do this much shorter, much simpler game instead. And so it begins. I absolutely adore Kirby's Dream Land 3. Basically, back in 2013, I got a Wii U just to play the Wind Waker HD. But I got it a few months before Wind Waker HD actually came out, so I played this a lot in the meantime. Then I put the game down for a while, and then I picked it back up again in 2015. This game is just really well made. It may look seem cute, but there's a lot more to it than you might expect, but that would be spoilers. And it has some very well designed environments as well. Like, this isn't just like your typical colourful field of colours. It's got like flowers in it and stuff. And it has these weird leaves with lines all over them blowing in the wind. Anyway, in this room, we have met two of our animal friends. The one I chose is Nago, and the one on the right is Rick. Nago can triple jump, while Rick can only single jump. You can also jump up walls, but I can't really demonstrate that here. Anyway, I'll be going with Nago for this level. You're not really required to use animal friends at any point, but some of them are required for side quests. Yes, this game has side quests, but this level's side quest doesn't require an animal friend. I'm just kind of ripping off Masayanella here. Like, I like how there are these giant daisies in the foreground, and like these dandelions that dissipate when you run past them, and there's a random circle in the wall, and it looks a bit like a sweet. And now I think about New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where there's like secrets in the walls and stuff. But there aren't secrets in the walls in this game. And these enemies here are Waddle Dees. And anyway, also Kirby, as you may or may not know, has the ability to eat his enemies and steal their powers, which is called copy abilities. Which is called, I don't think that's grammatically correct, and his ability to eat enemies and steal their powers for power-ups is called his copy ability. Earlier on in this level, I got the cutter ability from a Sir Kibble, and now I have gotten the parasol ability from these guys. I don't know what they're called. And also, every animal friend makes a change to Kirby's abilities. And I think I forgot to mention that Rick doesn't slip on ice. Yeah, I did forget to mention that. And here is what Parasol looks like without Nago. So just regular Kirby. It's like, these are Bronto Berts. Normally they're pink. I don't know why they're not pink. Oh, normally it would slow his fall, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. And his Spark. It basically makes Kirby invincible for a short period of time, which I didn't actually realise that until Masayanella saw it. First time around, the first time I played this game, I didn't bother using animal friends because I thought them was a hindrance more than anything. And I'm just speeding through this level. Well, yep, this game isn't very long if you couldn't tell because it's a platformer on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. What did you expect? Oh, and by the way, this game, the history of this game, it was originally released in North America in 1997 and Japan the following year. It wasn't released in Europe, like, for problems with the localization. I guess it might have had some chip in it that wasn't compatible with the PAL Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I always pronounce it SNES because once I was in a shop and I was talking to one of the staff members about the Super Mario All-Stars on Wii, and he kept pronouncing it SNES as SNES, so I always say that, but people find that weird, so that's why I avoided saying it. Anyway, every level has a side quest. This level's side quest is don't step on flowers, specifically tulips. Stepping on dandelions is okay, because dandelions are weeds. And this is invincibility. Oh, I almost stepped on that one by accident, glad I didn't. And I got hit. If you complete the side quest successfully, you will get a heart star. You will need all of the heart stars to see the true final boss. What is the true final boss? Well, that would be spoilers, but I've played this game before, so I don't really want to spoil the entire game in this Let's Play because that's just not nice. Oh, another thing I like about this game is how all the levels look visually distinct. Also, clean power-up, which won't be seen again until Star Alleys, which hasn't been released yet. Is it? I know it's pronounced allies. I always pronounce it as alleys. But and there's stone. But like, I like how all the levels look visually distinct. Like you can see, there's like mountains in the background, and there are flowers in the foreground, and these weird transparent bush thingies, and parallax scrolling clouds. Because like I grew up playing New Super Mario Bros. So specifically the first one. So the idea of levels looking visually distinct is still kind of new to me, if that makes sense. Like, I love Clonodor Defensimal because, like, well, lots of reasons actually. One of them is that every level looks and feels different. And then I don't really like the Game Boy Advance games because, obviously, because system limitations and all that, they're not really that varied. And I meant to get fire, but then I ate the... Yes, you can also get rid of your abilities in every Kirby game except the original version of Kirby Superstar where you can only turn them into a helper, but they changed that in the DS version, which for some random reason isn't on Wii U Virtual Console. And yes, I know that I did a video a while ago about how putting handheld games on Wii U Virtual Console was a bad idea, but still. I mean, both Super Mario 64 and Super Mario 64 DS are on there. Anyway, for this level side quest, we need to get rid of our copy ability, although this is what... just for fun, here's Fire Choo Choo, that's her name by the way. But anyway, we need Choo Choo, the Dumbo Octopus, or the Flapjack Octopus, in order to do this level side quest. But I really like Peach, she has some of the best abilities, like he's a projectile basically. And he's cute. So what do I do when I want to keep both of them? The answer is, I summon Gooey! He is your player 2 character. He will be controlled by the AI until you press a button on player 2's controller, and in order to do that I need to go faff around with my Wii U setting. And by my Wii U settings I mean going to the Virtual Console menu on the gamepad. One thing that's kind of annoying about this game though is that, well not this game, about Wii U Virtual Console, is that you can't have player 1 be, oh come on, wait a minute, it's making Gooey both player... What the heck am I... What the hell is going on here? Oh my goodness! The gamepad is trying to be player 1 and player 2 at the same time. Oh my word. Oh my Okay, so I guess we can't both have an animal buddy then. Well, there goes my plan. You learn something new every day, and today I learned that you can't do that. It wasn't that the gamepad was trying to be player 1 and player 2 at the same time. I guess there's no pitch today, which is kind of dumb, but there you go. Anyway, we need to do the side quest, we need to find the side room. The side room should be somewhere around here. No, not here. A bit further away then. Is it? I don't know. Oh, it's here. So it is a bit further away by like a few tiles. Anyway, we still need to get rid of our ability and hug this guy. Problem solved. Also, what is it with Kirby's face when he has Choo Choo? Oh yeah, I suppose I should explain. Choo Choo can do this, and she can also stick to walls. And these are pokey cacti thingies. That's not what they're actually called, by the way. To be honest, there isn't really much for me to say at the moment. I don't really want to go on too many tangents. And there's not really any dialogue for me to read out in silly voices with like in Wind Waker HD. So let's talk about something completely irrelevant then. I don't really like it when Sonic games try to be like uber realistic and complete earnest, because it just doesn't work. It's not trying to be surreal or anything. It's just supposed to be like, take this story about cartoon inkblot cartoon characters saving the world from destruction, and it's all hyper realistic. It's like Sonic doesn't know what it wants to be, which actually kind of sums up what people bring of the franchise very well, even though I've never been a Sonic person. It's just like try a lot of things. While that's normally good for preventing your franchise from becoming homogenous like Mario is nowadays, it also doesn't really help when people don't really like all the different ways the games play. And I've got 5 lives and I'm on my last square of health. And this is a boar. They're called Naruf, by the way. How are you supposed to pronounce that? Like, it doesn't really feel like Sonic's trying to have its own universe. Like, I can take Klonoa seriously, for example, because it doesn't ever pretend that it's not set in a whimsical world, if that makes any sense. And we got our Heart Star. And, like, I suppose I should bring this up, is that, like, I like this game because it has, like, wordless storytelling in it, if that makes any sense. Like, there's not really any dialogue or anything, but there is, like, a story that's going on, even if it's not a particularly deep one. But it's like another example of a game with wordless storytelling that's kind of similar to this one, because it's a 16-bit platformer, is Sonic 3 Knuckles, because like kind of I got my first lose life. That's a game over, and then I realised it wasn't a game over. And also that was a very interesting frame to die on. I try to say odd and interesting at the same time at first. And there are more mountains, and this time they're closer. It's the mysterious mountain of mystery. One of these days I really need to write parody Purple Mystery Ninja dialogue. Anyway, Sonic 3 Knuckles, there's kind of like a narrative going on in the first level, because like Sonic and Tails show up on Angel Island, and then this is Coob, he can fly. This is Kine, he's a sunfish, an ocean sunfish specifically. And he can only single jump and he's good at swimming, but there's no water here, so. Sonic 3 Knuckles, I keep getting sidetracked. I played it yesterday, but anyway. And yesterday was the 20th of October, by the way. I'm recording this. Oh, wait a minute. If yesterday was 20th of October, it's obvious what day I'm recording this on. I don't know why I need to specify. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that there's kind of like a narrative going on in Sonic 3 Knuckles, because Sonic and Tails show up at Angel Island, specifically the jungle bit of it, and then it gets set on fire, and then, like, Knuckles messes with them for the rest of the game. It's not like a particularly deep one. This isn't like Mass Effect or anything. But it's just it's just like a kind of story that you can only tell in a video game, because only in a video game can you get away with a story which isn't fully developed and is only there to justify things, because like, the thing about a video game story is it doesn't need to be complex, it only needs to justify what you're doing. But if it's a complex story, that would be great. I don't really have a solid opinion on storytelling in video games, to be honest. I'm still growing and I'm still developing opinions on things. But I am still working on a video about my problems with Pokémon Mystery Dungeon. I also kind of like the colours on this, like they look really gaudy normally, but they actually kind of look really nice. And an example of gaudy colours is like Baram Town in, this is a minigame. Pokémon Super Mystery Dungeon, like it's a discount breeze game with awfully coloured windmills. Like, they don't really mesh very well with all the extremely green grass. Yes! Anyway, what I was trying to say is, I don't like how Baram Town looks in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Because, like, the windmills don't have really colours that clash really badly with the background, and I got crushed. And Coo isn't good at going downwards because he's a bird, he can fly, duh. And also I didn't realise he was supposed to be an owl the first time I played this game, and I got crushed by the anti-auto scroll, as in there was a pit that was caused by the screen not having scrolled that far down. But like, another problem I have with Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon's towns in general is that while the buildings design look nice, it just seems to have like random Pokemon in them that don't really suit a theme. Like, in Baram Town, it's on the air continent, it's a discount breeze gale, And the Pokemon you find in living there are like Stantler, Amoonguss, Electrike, Skorupi. There's not really any theme to them. But then, like, speaking of towns in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I like to imagine that, like, Pokemon Square is like one of the, if we just view Rescue Team in a vacuum without acknowledging the other games around here, that Pokemon Square is like one of the few places where different species of Pokemon intermingle and stuff, because that would explain the very boring name. Anyway, since we did the minigame well, which was see if you've got the correct, which is this guy throws a Gordo over behind two pillar barrier things, and then you have to guess what Gordo he threw. Since I completed that minigame, I got a heart star. And I think this is now a good place to end the episode. I was originally only going to do 2 levels before I realised that 2 levels wasn't actually that much. This is a very short game because it's a Kirby game, obviously. So, next time in my extremely riveting Let's Play of Kirby's Dream Land 3, I shall be doing the rest of Grassland. Until then, stay interesting!